All right, good morning. This is our second video to talk about the teen drama slash realism genre. So a few quick bits of advice if you're sitting down to write in this genre. First one is don't feel like this genre has to be a romance. Romance is great. If you want to, you definitely should. But there are a lot of times where dramas involve conflicts within families or conflicts within friendships, and that is definitely fair game. So by all means, explore romance if you like, but otherwise there's a lot of other territory within the genre. Second thing, and this is really important, dramas are often much more effective if they are in first person. And part of the reason for this is that a lot of the conflicts in drama are internal, by which I mean they happen in a character's head. As opposed to two characters punching each other or something. So if you don't have a first person narrator who speaks in I statements, you're often missing a lot of the core drama that happens in a dramatic story. Next thing, and I talked about this before, but plots often come from misunderstandings. Dramas are often about social interactions. Social interactions are very complex, and people often misinterpret the intentions of others. So one plot arc that you will see a ton in drama is this: I thought you meant this. No, I actually meant this. And you can carry that out for any number of pages. And that is actually kind of the source of suspense in a dramatic story, and it drives viewers nuts in a good way. I mean, so just like in a horror genre, the source of suspense would be, we know that there's something in the house with them, but we haven't seen what that thing is. And the reader desperately wants to know what is that thing that's around the corner, and the writer forces them to wait. You can also force your readers to wait and build that suspense in a dramatic genre as well, where you say, we have these two characters who misunderstand each other, but we are not going to clarify that misunderstanding. We are going to make them wait for that misunderstanding to be finally righted and clarified. And that can be a good thing for a story. Moving on, you cannot have a dramatic story without dialogue. Dialogue is absolutely necessary, and part of the reason that it's absolutely necessary is it humanizes people. Drama is all about humanizing people. Can't have that without dialogue. So a lot of you guys are still having some trouble with formatting dialogue. I just want to remind you, first, whenever a new person is talking, you got to start a new paragraph. And then at the end of a quote, if you have something like, I like dialogue, said Rihanna, you need a comma here. As opposed to if it comes at the end of a line, so I don't know, said Jerry, I find it challenging, end of sentence, then you'd have the period. So if there's something that comes after it, like said Rihanna, you have a comma. If it comes at the end of the sentence, have the period. Start a new paragraph whenever a new person is talking. Finally, drama lives and dies based on believable, relatable characters. Drama is all about characters, and as always, how do you create believable characters? You have specific details. So what specific details have you included to make your characters believable? That is the question you have to ask yourself. So maybe you have a character with an annoying habit of wearing buttons with inspirational slogans, or maybe one of your characters is a pet chinchilla. I don't care what you do, but include specific details because these make people feel real. The world is full of specific details. Please, God, separate your story into paragraphs. A few of you are still sending me giant story bricks with no paragraphs, and then I have to separate them, and that is annoying. Final thing which is important is the fact of scenes, right? Scenes are absolutely essential in a drama. So don't give us the broad arc of the story. Don't say, once upon a time there were two characters who really liked each other, blah, blah, blah. A much more effective way to write a drama story is to drop us right into the middle of a scene at the beginning. So usually what this looks like is dropping us into a scene of dialogue. Story, curtain opens, and immediately two people are talking about something. That can be a really effective way to draw the reader in. Final thing. So this final slide is sort of the crux of this genre, and it is what we call conflicting wants. So as you are writing your story, the big thing you have to think about is your character's motivations. What does this character want most? So a really juicy sort of source of conflict in a dramatic story is when people want different things, and those things are inevitably in conflict. Clashing wants, we'll say. So the love triangle is maybe the most famous and obvious example of this. For example, both guys want the same girl, or both girls want the same guy, and those motivations are obviously in conflict. They can't both have what they want unless they want to start a politicus relationship. But that's not the only one, right? So there's a million different examples of characters wanting things that are clashing. So as you're sitting down to write your story, figure out what your character wants and figure out how that might conflict with what another character wants. So have fun this week, enjoy writing your stories, and I'm looking forward to reading them too.